Hello and welcome to Of Land and Leaf. I'm Andrea and I am on a mission to make huge changes through small scale gardening. What that means is simply that I've been thinking a lot about some of the decisions that I'm making in life, the way that I eat, the food that I consume, the decisions that I make with sugar intake. And I've just decided to take more responsibility and have more accountability over my food. And that has really pushed my love for gardening. So on this channel, you'll get to watch me learn. I'm still very much a beginner gardener. I've been gardening for a couple of years now, but I started with just a tomato plant or so in a pot, and then it just snowballs, right? And so last June, I got a community garden plot, and it's a 20 by 20, so it's a nice size community garden plot, and really invested into learning everything that I could about gardening. And this year, since I have a little more of a, start, I have all of 2024 to grow. I am really spending some time expanding my knowledge of gardening, and I created this channel as a way to share with my mom, who's over 500 miles away, some of the things that I'm learning and some of the things that I'm doing. So right now, today is, I believe, March 20th, 19th, 20th, something like that. And I'm itching to get in the garden so bad. I want to get out there so bad. But in zone 8, even though we have a very long growing season, it's just not the ideal time for me to start growing outside. It's still too volatile. In the last video, I was showing you that we had 70-degree temperatures and my cabbages and collards and mustards all bolted. And then a few days later, I was covering things because we had freeze warnings, and it got down to 28 last night. So I was covering things. And so that back and forth is just not a great way to start, especially when I am having to drive to my garden and drive home. I don't have an easy way to bring anything in or protect it. It's going to be out there if I put it out there. And I just want to give my babies the best start possible. So I thought about seed starting, and I've actually started a couple things, but I really don't have the setup, the time, or the patience to do a lot of seed starting. I really admire the people that you see with the greenhouses and, the setups, but that's not where we are. So I won't do a lot of that. I have some things started. I started some tomatoes, and I have some herbs that I am trying to start. We'll see how that goes. But I've been trying to satisfy my urge to get in the garden, and I figured I would show you one of the things that I'm doing to help me to satisfy the urge, but also just to prepare myself for what should be an epic year in the yard. And that is planning, really stopping to take some time out to plan. So what I have in front of me is my old gardening journal. Look at it. It's super beat up and old. I've had it for years. And like I said, I kind of just played with it. But last year, how I used this was actually as a journal. Every day that I would go out to the plot, I would make notes, right? So the pole beans are starting to trellis the corn. The watermelon is growing everywhere. I picked sweet potatoes out of the ground and put them in a pot. I have steps. So that was July 5th. And then I was back out there on July 9th. And the pole beans have attracted some strange orange bugs that I think are Mexican bean beetles. They're eating up the leaves really bad. I'm gonna try neem oil to try to stop them from ruining the crop. And so I literally had a garden journal, and I learned so much through this journal because I'm able to look back at dates and make some different decisions this year. I'm able to kind of think about trends and things that happen so that I can anticipate and plan for them instead of being in a reactionary state. This year, I'm still kind of journaling, but I changed it a little bit. This year, I'm journaling by crop. So once I put something in the ground, I date it, and then I use the lines to every date that I'm out there, I add an observance. So I tried carrots in February. I don't think they were successful, but I tried carrots. I planted them on February 23rd. I wrote down the date that I should be able to harvest them, which is May 1st. I wrote down that it's 14 to 25 days to germinate and 60 to 80 days to harvest. And then I was out on March 2nd and there was no germination, and out again on the 18th and there was no germination. So, I'm watching. So if I don't have success with carrots, I'll be able to think about where I planted them, what amendments I made, what I did, and maybe what I want to do different. What I'm going to do today, since I'm not able to get out in the ground today, I'm not planting, I don't have any updates, and I want to be out there so bad. What I'm doing is I decided that I'm going to have a monthly map of the garden. And so I created just this little, if you can see this, and I'm not at all an artist or an engineer, but this is pretty much the layout of my garden. And there are certain things that are going to be there. They're consistently going to be there, right? So I know that my compost bin is going to be here. My storage is going to be there. My towers, I have nailed them into the ground, so they're not moving. My onions are going to be there for the longest. My garlic, I did not know when I planted garlic that it takes 8 months to grow, and then you pull it out and it takes another month to cure. So I planted this garlic and it's going to be in that spot for a long time. Other things will be crops that will grow, rotate, and I'll pull out. So I decided to do that for each month to give myself a date of what's going into the ground every month. And in order to wrap my mind around that, I started with this list of what I'd like to grow. I don't know if you can see that. What I'd like to grow in 2024. Now, I am a believer in I like success. I'm I do well. I'm motivated when I'm succeeding. So I don't want to throw a whole bunch of stuff out into the plot that is going to fail. I would rather do a little bit, learn, do a little bit more, learn. Because I had some things that were not successes. Cucumbers were not a success for me last year, even though I tried. I tried the Three Sisters method, and I just don't think that there was enough airflow in my plot, the way that I planted things, for the cucumbers to do well. They just got moldy really quickly and they just didn't do well. And then the Mexican pole beetles ate up the beans so bad, and then they started to attack the cucumber leaves, which all the gardeners told me, oh, they don't bother cucumber leaves. Yeah, they were bothering mine. So I didn't have success with that. So I'm going to try cucumbers again this year, but I'm going to try them in a different way. So this is like a learning process for me. So I have my list of things. I'm kind of scared of this list because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 things on this list. They won't all get planted at the same time by any means, because I'm going to go slow. I'm going to take my time. But the way that I wanted to show you the way that I do this. So the way that I do this is I have my list of things that I want to grow. And then I use this book, Grow Great Vegetables in Georgia. And I believe that there are different, I remember recommending this to someone who was not in Georgia, and she was able to find her state, but I don't know that they have all the states in this series. But I love this book. I carry this book around like a Bible. And it is so informative. One of the things that I really like about it, let's see if I can flip to, in the planning section. So there's a planning section where it goes over month by month, like what you should be doing and thinking about and preparing for in your garden. So one of the ways that I use this is I look at the month. So I'm gonna flip to March. I'm not gonna start planting anything until April 1st. And I may even adjust that because I looked up the last frost date, and it said that the last frost date was anywhere between April 1st and April 20th. And I'm scared. So I'm not going to do a whole lot because I'm not doing seed starting in the house. So April will be my month to really get started. And so it shows me what does well in Georgia by the month, and I'm gonna follow this guide. I'm trying to find this one page. Here it is. This is what I wanted to show you. There's a planting and harvesting chart that I'm going to be using. And so it shows me like if this is what you want to grow, this is when you should plant it. This is when you should look to harvest it based on when you planted it, right? And so I'm gonna go through this list and compare it to the items that I've said that I want to grow. And this will help me in a couple of ways. One, I can visually see what should be going into the ground around what time. I'm not a stickler for rules. I will bend the rules a little bit. Last year, people were telling me, oh, it's too late. You're getting things into the ground too late. And I had a great harvest. I had a great watermelon harvest. I had a great corn harvest. So I want to have guidance, and then I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Right? It's kind of the way that I think about it. So let's say, for example, I'm looking at my chart and I'm thinking about what I want to put where. I know that I want to put corn right here at some point. And I want to get it in a little bit earlier than I got it in last time. Last time I think it went in June 5th or something like that. So I want to get it in a little bit earlier. So there's two things I'm going to do to kind of like cross-reference and make sure that I have a plan for the corn. One, I'm going to go look at the little chart. I'm going to look up corn. And it says that corn can start to be planted mid-April. And you can plant corn from April all the way until mid-July. And I got mine in around June. I would like to get it in a little bit earlier. So I'm going to plan on corn mid-April. And with me saying that I want to start planting in April, that's fine with me. What I will do is make a note on my chart where I want the corn to go. And also approximately the date that I want the corn to go in. What that's going to tell me is 2 weeks before that date that I need to get out there and to start amending the soil and preparing the soil for the crop. So I really prefer direct seeding. I will buy a plant. I will buy a seedling, but it's just so much more cost effective to do seeds. So then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look in my little, I'm not gonna show you my stash because it's a mess, but I have an old photo album that I've put some seeds in. And these were like my early seeds, the stuff that I know that I want to start doing, some herbs and things like that. They're in here. A lot of other things are kind of just out. So I have a bunch of the Dollar Tree 4 for $1 seeds. I'm just going to go through here and find my corn seeds from last year because I already have some. Then I'm also going to double check the back of the package to see what the recommended days or time to plant based on my zone. Now, this is going to give me some more information to consider as I'm doing my planning. Also, it's going to tell me whether or not I need to purchase some seeds. Like I want to go and do watermelon. I wanted to try to start some watermelon in a milk jug as an experiment, and I couldn't find watermelon seeds. I only saw the little baby watermelon that I hadn't planted before, and I had such a great harvest last year. I wanted my seeds from last year. I could not find the packet, but I did find some seeds that I stored from one of my watermelon. I'm hoping that I stored them properly, and I'm going to try to grow those. So I will go and I'll find the packet, and I'm just going to do that and map out the whole garden based on like spacing, based on time. This is going to help me figure out what I can get in when I start in April. And it's fun for me. Like it's gonna take some time to go through all of the seeds and, figure out what's going where. I wanted to show you one of my friends. I was saying something about looking for seeds, and she sent me some seeds, a whole bunch of seeds. She sent, and this was so kind, for free. She didn't charge me anything. She sent me pumpkin, cucumber, patty pan squash, acorn squash, lemons, cantaloupe, spaghetti squash. I'm still going. This is all free. Bell pepper. Oh, red okra, which I've been wanting to grow. My okra did so good last year, and I saw people had red okra. So I wanted some of that. Some cherries. So she sent me a ton of stuff. And this, you know, they're not the traditional, they don't have a seed packet. So it's so good that I have the book that I can use to reference some of these seeds. I do want to try squash this year. I didn't grow squash last year. And honestly, between us, I don't know the last time I've tasted squash. We don't eat squash in this house, but I grew up eating squash and I remember liking it. So I want to grow some, because if I grow it, I'll eat it. So this is what I'm going to do. And this is actually what I'm going to do every month, I believe. Now, when I get out there and start actually working in the garden pretty much every day, maybe I'll change my mind. But for now, this is the plan. Would love to hear from you, how you plan, what you do differently. Are you someone who direct sows? Do you have or do you kind of just go with the flow and plant what you want? Like, what's your process? This is my process for just keeping me busy and reducing my anxiety before I can get out there and get my hands in the dirt. A lot of people don't know this, but gardening has actually been scientifically proven to help with depression and anxiety. Getting your hands in the dirt is a grounding mechanism, and it is great therapy for those of us that deal with any of those things. And honestly, I just think it's so important for us to start to think about how often we connect with things that are real. I mean, I spend all day under artificial lights, in artificial air, in front of a laptop, in front of a screen. And when I'm not looking at that screen, I'm on my phone. And when I'm not on my phone, I'm relaxing in front of the TV, right? And so everything that I'm interacting with, right? I'm on synthetic fibers, walking across the carpet all day. Sometimes the food that you digest there's nothing real about that. If you think about your morning coffee with your creams and your artificial sweeteners and, grabbing a burger and fries, like none of this that we interact with on a day-to-day basis is real. And we wonder why our bodies are stressed, and we wonder why we deal with disease and disorder. A lot of it is because our bodies were not designed to deal with the things that we are forcing it to deal with. So if I can just come up with small ways to experience more reality, more real things and real experiences in my life, I want to do that. And so for me, gardening is one of those things. I'm not going to bore you. I know you don't want to sit here and watch me plan, but I thought that I would share the method with you. And I wonder, Mom, if you're out there, do you do this? Do you do any sort of planning in your gardens, or do you kind of just eyeball it? I know you've been doing this for so long. Do you kind of eyeball it and you know what you want to plant when and where? Would love a comment. Let me know. For everyone else, I'll be back with another video. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, but most of all, comment. You know what? When I talk about real things, I also want to engage with real people. So if you will comment below, share, it would mean the world to me. I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye.